Stop guessing what works in email marketing. The data is clear. The best performing emails follow a specific structure, and it starts with your welcome and reply emails. These aren't just templates. They're the foundation of how you turn new subscribers into active buyers. Imagine subscribers replying within hours, actually looking forward to your next email, and your sales numbers reflecting that engagement. Today, I'm breaking down the exact frameworks that consistently drive higher open rates, more replies, and real sales for info product owners. But before you start copying and pasting, there's a reason most creators are losing subscribers right out of the gate. Let's look at what's actually going wrong with your welcome email. Most info product creators treat the welcome email as a checkbox, but this is exactly where engagement starts to slip. The biggest issue? A lack of congruency between what subscribers signed up for and what they actually receive. If your lead magnet promised a breakthrough or a specific transformation, but your welcome email feels generic or transactional, there's an immediate disconnect. People remember the energy and promise of your opt-in page. Your first email should match it, not flatten it. Take a look at a typical example from the info product space. A lead magnet that promises the secret to 10x productivity in 30 days, followed by a welcome email that simply delivers the download link and a bland "Let me know if you have questions." There's no excitement, no reinforcement of the value, and no reason to anticipate the next message. Compare that to the Fat Loss Factor campaign, where the welcome email not only delivers the promised resource but also sets expectations for future content and clearly defines who will benefit most. That extra step instantly filters for the most engaged subscribers, building a stronger, more responsive list from day one. What's missing in most welcome emails is a structure that does the heavy lifting. You need to fulfill the promise immediately, no friction, no extra clicks. Set expectations right up front about what's coming next, how often they'll hear from you, what kind of content to expect, and why it matters. Show some personality so subscribers know there's a real human behind the emails. Most importantly, strategically polarize your audience. Make it clear who your content is for and who it isn't. This isn't about being exclusionary, it's about making sure your message resonates with the right people, which leads to higher engagement and a more loyal following. The EC3 structure, promise fulfillment, clear expectations, personality, and polarization, covers 80% of what actually moves the needle. When you get these right, you create instant recognition and relevance. Your next email isn't just another message in a crowded inbox. It's something they look forward to. You also filter out subscribers who aren't a fit, which is a win for long-term deliverability and engagement. But even a perfectly structured welcome email only gets you so far. The next step is what separates high-performing lists from everyone else. There's a narrow window, about 6 hours, where most creators lose momentum completely. What you send next doesn't just impact engagement, it can directly affect whether your future emails even reach the inbox. There's a critical window most creators overlook, the 6 hours after someone joins your list. This is where the 6-hour reply email comes in, a tactic straight from Ian Stanley's course that changes how email providers see your messages. The core idea is simple. Instead of just sending more content, you prompt your new subscriber to reply. That reply acts as a signal to Gmail, Outlook, and every other provider that your emails are wanted, which increases your chances of landing in the inbox instead of promotions or spam. Here's what most info product owners get wrong. They chase open rates, thinking higher numbers mean better results. But open rates don't tell the whole story. What matters is whether people interact. When you ask for a reply, you're not just starting a conversation, you're training algorithms to treat you like a real contact, not a marketer. The reply doesn't have to be long, sometimes just a yes or a quick answer to a question is enough. This small action does more for your deliverability than any clever subject line or design tweak. Let's break down how this works in practice. The 6-hour email should feel like a direct message, not a broadcast. You want it short, specific, and personal, something that makes it easy for the subscriber to hit reply without thinking twice. Here's the template, adapted directly from Ian Stanley's 80-20 EC3 framework. Subject: quick favor? Body: hey, name, saw you grabbed lead magnet. Mind hitting reply and telling me your number one struggle with topic? Helps me tailor future emails. Promise I read every reply. This approach works for a few reasons. First, it's specific and feels like a real request, not a generic autoresponder. Second, it's mildly inconvenient, which filters out people who aren't serious about your content. Third, it positions you as someone who actually listens, not just broadcasts. Most importantly, every reply boosts your sender reputation, making it more likely your future emails reach the primary inbox. Don't fall into the trap of sending another generic follow-up or a piece of content with no call to action. The 6-hour reply email is about starting a real conversation and identifying who on your list is willing to engage. Tag these subscribers in your CRM. They're the ones most likely to become buyers down the line. This is just one part of a sequence that separates casual subscribers from real prospects. When you combine a strong welcome email with a smart 6-hour reply, you're not just building a list, you're qualifying buyers from day one. Most creators never get past the broadcast mindset, but the real leverage comes from treating email as a two-way channel. Let's look at what actually moves the needle in the first 48 hours after someone joins your list. The sequence that qualifies buyers for you, automatically. This isn't about blasting more content or hoping for better open rates. It's about applying the 80-20 principle to your email strategy, focusing on the small set of actions that consistently drive engagement and set up higher conversions for info products. Here's how the sequence works. Day 1 is your welcome email. You immediately deliver what you promise, set expectations for what's coming next, and establish trust. About 6 hours later, you send a reply email, prompting a quick response. This isn't just for engagement, it's the signal that tells email providers your messages matter, and it gets subscribers used to interacting with you. On day 2, you send the 80-20 path email. This is where you introduce the 80-20 principle, making it clear that your product isn't about doing everything, it's about focusing on the few actions that generate most of the results. You show how this principle applies directly to your market's main problem, and you position your solution as the shortcut that helps them avoid wasted effort. The real power of this sequence comes from how each email builds on the last. The welcome email fulfills the initial promise and starts the trust-building process. The reply email creates a sense of involvement and signals engagement. The 80-20 email shifts the conversation. Instead of overwhelming subscribers with more information, you highlight what actually matters and frame your product as the answer to getting results faster. You don't give away the entire solution, you show the what and the value of focusing on the right steps, leaving them curious about the how. Across info product businesses, implementing this 3-email sequence consistently leads to better engagement and a higher likelihood of qualified buyers hitting your sales page. You're not just growing a bigger list, you're building a list of people who already see the value in what you offer before you even pitch. The last piece is making sure you know who's ready to buy and who needs more time. This is where most creators lose momentum. They have engaged subscribers, but no clear way to separate buyers from browsers. There's a simple bridge you can use to turn that engagement into real, qualified leads, and it starts with one email that changes how your list responds. Most creators think the gap between a subscriber and a buyer is just a matter of time or more content, but the real shift happens when you give subscribers a way to voice their needs. The "Help me help you" survey email is the tool that makes this happen. It's simple, direct, and based on what actually works. You ask subscribers to share their biggest challenge or roadblock, and you use their answers to segment your list and shape your offers. Send this email after your initial 48-hour sequence. Use a subject line like, "Quick question, what's holding you back?" And keep the body straightforward. "I'm refining our resources and could use your input." Hit reply with your number one challenge with, "Topic, I'll personally respond with the best next step." This approach does 3 things at once. It surfaces the language and objections your market actually uses, it gets subscribers to self-identify by their needs, and it triggers another reply, which keeps your deliverability strong. The survey doesn't have to be long or complicated. The research-backed structure recommends a few targeted questions, basic demographics, past purchases and their effectiveness, and, most importantly, an open-ended question about what's stopping them from reaching their goal. That last question is where you get the gold. When you see the same pain points or objections come up again and again, you know exactly what to address in your sales messaging and product positioning. Once you have those insights, you can move subscribers further down the bridge with 2 more email types. The FAQ email tackles the product-specific questions that stall a decision, things like, is this digital or physical? Or, what's the refund policy? These are the logistical details that, if left unanswered, kill momentum. The, will this work for you? Email is where you address the personal doubts. Take a page from Neil Strauss's myth-busting structure or Rusty Moore's personal info emails. Show how your offer applies to different segments, use short stories or testimonials, and break down the real-world situations your subscribers face. The power of these emails is in how they build trust through clarity and relevance. Each message is a step in a conversation, not a broadcast. By the time a subscriber hits your sales page, they've already told you what matters, seen their objections answered, and heard stories that match their situation. That's the hidden bridge, moving people from passive interest to active buyers by making every email a two-way street. And it's the difference between blasting messages into the void and actually building a list that buys. When you treat each subscriber like a real person, you build a foundation for long-term success and control over your business. Email marketing isn't just about sending messages. It's about creating a feedback loop where every interaction moves you closer to real engagement and sales. The creators who master this approach end up with more freedom and a business that works on their terms. Here's your action step. Pick one email in your sequence, welcome, reply, or survey, and rewrite it using the frameworks from this video. After you do, reply with, welcome, to let me know which one you updated. If you haven't started, just implement one element from the 10-day EC3 sequence today. Small steps compound, and your future customers will notice.